Hello friends, today I want to share a story that could completely change the way you see your own challenges. It's about a young boy who believed his problems were too heavy to carry, until he learned one powerful truth. Most problems aren't as big as they seem, and often, their solutions are right in front of us. By the end of this story, you'll understand that truth for yourself. So take a deep breath, relax, and stay with me till the very end. Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful village surrounded by green fields, lived a boy named Arav. He was bright and curious, but he worried about everything. Even the smallest problem felt like a mountain to him. If the day was too hot, Arav would grumble, "How can anyone work in this heat?" If the teacher gave homework, he'd sigh, "This is impossible." When his mother asked him for help, he would mutter, "Why is everything so hard for me?" As days passed, his constant complaints made people avoid him. No one likes being around someone who only sees problems. One evening, Arav's father, tired of hearing his son complain, called him and said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." They walked together to a quiet pond at the edge of the village. The water was still and clear. Arav's father handed him a handful of salt and said, "Throw it in." Arav tossed it in, and his father told him to taste the water. Arav bent down, sipped, and immediately spat it out. "It's so bitter," he said. His father simply nodded. Then his father gave him another handful of salt and led him to a wide flowing river. "Now, throw it in here," he said. Arav obeyed and tasted the water again. This time it was fresh. He smiled in surprise. "I can't taste the salt at all." His father smiled and said, "Son, life's problems are like salt. They never disappear. But how much they affect you depends on how big your heart is. If your heart is small like the pond, even a little salt makes it bitter. But if you grow your heart like the river, you'll hardly feel the bitterness at all." Those words sank deep into Arav's heart. That night, lying in bed, he couldn't stop thinking about the pond and the river. He whispered, "If I stay like the pond, I'll keep suffering. But if I become like the river, I can handle anything." From the next morning, Arav began to change. When the teacher gave him more homework, he said, "This is my chance to get better." When his mother asked him to help, he smiled, "This is how I'll grow stronger." Even when the sun burned above him, he whispered, "This is just another test. I can face it." It wasn't easy, but every time he remembered his father's words, he grew a little stronger. Weeks turned into months. Arav was no longer the boy who complained about every little thing. People noticed his calmness. His friends liked being around him. His teacher praised him. His parents were proud. And most importantly, Arav felt lighter inside. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Arav sat quietly by the river. He watched the water flow endlessly, carrying leaves and stones without stopping. He smiled and whispered, "Problems will always exist. The secret is not to remove the salt, but to become the river." So, my friends, remember this. Life will always bring challenges. Some days will be hard, and some nights will feel endless. But the answer is not to complain or run away. The answer is to grow, to open your heart wider, and face your problems with calmness. Because problems don't shrink. We grow. And when we grow, every problem becomes small. So ask yourself, are you being the pond or the river?